Yeah, what were you trying to have? Oh,
Your image is not very
oh
clear.
no, no, that's because I was in front of the thing here. I had to turn it over. But no, what was the? Were you trying to have the Western joint tonight?
Let's go ahead and give the viewers a quick 30-minute segment
Shit,
after hours after the show special. There's a lot of heat going on, a lot of fire on social media,
about what?
and got something good for the people.
What you talking about, Franklin?
Well, let's go ahead and start with your topic first, and then we will or your discussion, and we'll go from there. One second, I gotta close this door.
What you got, man? Because there's too much going on in this world right here, right now.
Go ahead, let's roll with it. Let's go.
No, no, no. See, one of my topics, man, is all y'all tuning in. How some of y'all done gotten too used to this summer just done came and went, and y'all ain't willing to let go of some of y'all. Y'all ain't willing to sacrifice your past tense for your future love right now. That's one thing. If anything, I've even experienced, and I've been talking to some of y'all about on the side or here, coming out of the stores, at the gas stations, all the places. How some of y'all are gonna have to let go of your past tense of whatever the hell just happened this past summer or in your past relationship. You have to let that go, okay? Because it's one thing to hear y'all complaints. I mean, I've experienced some of them, but I don't let them bother me like that. I mean, Sam,
So you saying that people in their relationships, whatever that relationship may be, are holding on to baggage, and that baggage is stopping them from maybe achieving their goals or whatever they want
it's
to.
pretty much it's like, oh, I've been married before. Okay, well, uh, my husband, my wife lied to me about this. It's like, oh, okay, well, guess what though, man? Guess what? Just because your husband, wife, ex, whoever the heck they were, you know, lied to you about some BS, that does not mean that the person you're trying to talk to now is going to lie to your tail. Just because they say, hey, well, me and the fellas or me and the ladies are going to have a night out, that don't mean they're going to cheat on your tail, all right? I mean, you got to stop blaming your current for your past experience, man. That is killing more relationships than ever before.
Now, why do you think people carry that baggage over? You think it's a trust issue? You think they have a wall put up and they just tend to they revert back to that damage, or they haven't healed themselves or
There
been
you go.
healed from that damage.
There you go. Because basically, what people are doing, man, is I mean, take this summer for example. This summer is about over. You know what I mean? And the fall getting ready to come. And you had a lot of people who have said, okay, well, they want to start something new this summer. They haven't healed. Some guy have not like, well, I can't be without a man, without a woman. Well, I guess what you're gonna have to, give yourself that time. Well, as I say, put yourself on suspension. That's what I call it. Now, how much that time
Yeah, I
is?
think
Is
when you're going through that relationship, you shouldn't, or a breakup, I should
yeah.
say, you shouldn't jump right back in. I mean, I made that mistake one time. I think we've all made that
We probably.
mistake. It's just a part of learning.
Mm,
But I think it's hard to, in the moment, it's hard to like rationalize what's going on. But the reality is, you need to give yourself time to heal and learn about yourself, right? I feel like after every relationship or after every breakup, you need that me time to try to reflect on what's going on, what the other person, what was going on in that situation, what you could have changed, what red flags were there, and then continue to progress and grow as a person before you jump right back into something else. Because usually when people jump right back into something else, it leads to nothing positive,
there you go. Well, my point, my whole point is also y'all got to learn how to start sacrificing. And if y'all don't sacrifice what I call old habits, whether they, for example, um, There's always going to be sacrificing, submission, suffering, sometimes a little bit of stress before there's any kind of success in your next relationship. Some of y'all don't catch that either. But yeah,
Maybe.
sacrifice, surrender, submit, maybe go through some struggles and some stress before there's going to be success in your next relationship. Because some of y'all who don't want to sacrifice nothing, and you guys ain't going to get nowhere either. Because it's, I mean,
I don't need the
huh?
stress. I don't need the stress.
Oh no! Oh, trust me.
I
I
don't.
mean, there's gonna be no, no. Check it out. Check it out. Saying there's gonna be when somebody doesn't sacrifice
What up, Andre?
when people don't sacrifice what they need to, what they should. What keeps happening is you guys don't want to. Anytime, name me one person of any kind of success, whether it's a relationship, career, whatever. Name me one person who never sacrificed anything and still got what they wanted, and you know, it's still up and running now. Name me one person.
Yeah, I mean, sacrifice is a part of the game.
Yeah.
Or if you want to rephrase the word, you say uh, sharing, right?
That also,
Sharing.
that also,
Part of
you,
part of what's the one thing? One of the things I've learned in business over the years is that you have to, the more you share and help others,
uh,
the more you will reap the benefits in your own
there
business.
you go.
Whether that be you own your own, you know, restaurant, or you own your own, you know, maybe you're in marketing or sales or whatever. But the more you help other people and help bring them along, you will make more money in return. And I think, let's say maybe you don't make money right away, but you made some connections and contacts. So you know, we tend to like I tell people, relationships can be networking as well,
They
right?
can.
Sometimes guys having guy time and we out going up, maybe we're having a drink or whatever, doing this, you know, being COVID safe. But
Yeah.
you know, let's meet some people. We might network. You never know who you may meet. You know, we can have them on the show. Maybe they're going through some miserable relationship, and maybe you're able to give them some advice that helps them.
Eh,
Or like you said the other week, right now there was an article that just came out. They were talking about the increase in suicide rate because of COVID and all the rest of this stuff. And you know, maybe I've actually been in that situation in my life where I was able to talk to, it was a random person,
yeah.
a stranger. I did not know this person. And just a simple act of holding the door, but then when their hands were full, made their day enough where they said, you know what? They said, I've been going through a lot. And literally they told me that they had contemplated suicide just a few days before that.
Oh yeah.
And just my little act of kindness made them so happy that day,
I've
you know?
gotten that. I've gotten a response too from people who are a bit obese, overweight, and it could be something as easy as, you know what, I'm having such a good day. This is a few. This is 2018 before the COVID even came, and I'm just having such a good day. I'm like, hey man, you, you got a you got room for a hug, or hey man, can I get a hug? And it's just something as simple as that, man, that will make somebody's day. And it's just that's just the person I am. But it's like, you know, and the person like, yeah. And next thing you know, have you ever had a person cry on you before, Sam? Have you had somebody cry on you because you made their day? That is one of the most joyful feelings in the world. And you already know the person.
Yeah.
You already know who the person is, and it's, I mean, yeah, I mean, next thing you know, you find out, hey, mom, their parents just died, their best friend just died. But just because, I mean, everybody taking, you know, snapshots so daggone fast, just because some of y'all may see your spouse or other half doing some mess like that in the public, does not mean they cheating on your ass either.
Right.
Make note, because now
No.
sometimes if you like, Sam's family and or my family, and you know that's who we are. We just give love to the community in different ways, or show love in different ways. That don't mean anybody always, doing something behind your back either. Don't be buying the BS just because others' relationships ain't going that well, and they want your relationship to go that well. But I mean, still, that's not really the kind of sacrifice I'm talking about, though. The kind of sacrifice I'm
Right.
talking about is you might have to give up, you know, a ladies' night out, a fella's night out, because you got to take care of the kids, or you got to do something with the kids, or you got to base a sacrifice of something that means something to you, but you got to cover it with something else that means something to someone else, because life ain't all about you. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. No, very true. Very true. You know, a lot of times you do have to sacrifice like that, and the give and take
Yep.
in a relationship, right? You can't have everything your way
Nope.
and
This
everything
ain't Burger
the other
King.
person's way.
This ain't Burger
Guess
King.
what? Right, one person, you can't have it your way all the time,
Yep.
and because what's going to happen is one person will get burned out,
Mm-hmm.
or be left unsatisfied in numerous different ways,
Yeah.
and they're either going to cheat, or they're just going to walk out, or they're going to be miserable the rest of their lives and be an unhappy person. So
Yeah.
it's it's best to learn how to you know play nice with others and learn that relationships are about it's a give and take, and that's when people talk about the work it takes to be in a relationship. That's usually what that entails, is the give and the take, back and the forth.
Yeah, and one thing people forget, man, is it is a team sport, and sometimes there's always different players on the team. Sometimes it's just the man and the woman. Sometimes it's just or the man and the spouse, or the woman and their spouse. But sometimes, let's be honest, Sam, are there sometimes some kids that come into play too? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people, I mean, you have those relationships with your kids. People forget about those
Oh
relationships,
yeah,
right?
man.
Because you have to nurture
Because check it
those,
out.
you have to nurture those relationships as well. Because like you said, when you turn 18, I have a lot of friends, well, not a lot of friends, but at least two or three that when they turned 18, they never looked back. They had horrible relationships with their parents,
Yep.
and they may have spoken to their parents once or twice, or maybe once a year, or once or twice in the last 5-10 years. And if that relationship is important to you, that's just like a romantic relationship. You have to nurture it and take care of that relationship, and make sure it grows. Otherwise, it could fall to the wayside.
And see, here's one question I got for you, Sam, and here's one question hopefully some of y'all out here will stop, pestering and crying about is how much,
Uh-oh.
okay, check it out. How much sacrificing is too much sacrificing for one party? That's not really a question, but a lot of everybody was commenting on that in other posts and other even in person. It's like how much sacrificing do I have to do before he or she does their part?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Like how do
I think it
you,
depends.
yeah.
It really depends on the situation, right? So it depends on what that couple or that relationship is. What do people talk about? A relationship agreement? What was that on Big Bang Theory?
So,
So it
yeah.
really depends what that relationship, what the people in that relationship have agreed to, right? Some people are in, what do they call it, polygamous relationships, right?
Yep.
So multiple husbands or wives or whatever. But then other people are in a different situation where let's say the female is the breadwinner. Let's say she's the one that works, 8 to 6, 7 every day. And then the man, he works as well, but he picks up some of the extra slack because she is doing these extra things, and she is working and coming home at 7, 8 o'clock. So maybe he has to go pick up the kids, take them to sports, prepare dinner, do this and that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's their agreement, or that's their relationship. Before another person's relationship, maybe they got into the relationship and they were 50-50,
Yep.
you know 100-100, as people say. But they were sharing responsibilities. But then all of a sudden,
Life gets in the
this
way.
this this guy was being a bum, and he was like, you know what, I need you to cook, I need you to clean, I need you to pick up the kid from school, I need you to take care of this, take care of that, do this, do that. So now it's no longer where both people are contributing to the relationship. You have one person that's contributing 80-90%, and the other person is just chilling in the background. So I mean, I think it all starts with what is the agreement? What are you expecting?
Mm-hmm. That is um, that is something that I mean that's when people both parties are going to have to start what I call maturing up because at a point in life when you can tell, hey, well, you matured up and you gave up. Hey, well, I want to stay home and watch the fight or watch the game or whatever, but the kids got somewhere they want to be. And
Right.
once you done seen your spouse or your other half pick up on those responsibilities, but so many times you got to keep in mind whether those are your kids going into the commitment or y'all's kids. And if they're y'all's kids, you got to keep in mind that other party is going to need a break. So don't make it a habit because right now during this, because see right now while this weather's changing, you're going to see a lot of people who are in a relationship, and because they're tired of sacrificing, and the reward is not paying off, you're gonna see a lot of people say, you know what, I'm gonna go find somebody else to cuddle with for this fall, winter. That's if you're not married. I'm talking about people who are not married.
Not married, right?
Just
Cuddle season.
committed, and you're gonna see a lot of people
It's on
who
the way.
sacrifice just this past summer, not because of the COVID, but just because of different
Right.
reasons. They sacrificed, and it's like, hey, well, now it's time to reap the reward for what I sacrificed for. So, are you gonna reap it? Well, we about to see, because this fall season, this weather getting ready. This weather is starting to take a shift right now. It's going from I don't think we've seen 90s until today and yesterday. The only 2 days in the past 2 weeks we've seen the 90s. But I can feel the
Yeah,
weather right now.
a little bit. I mean, it's September, moving into October,
Fall season.
so it'll start fall. Yeah. Fall will start to come, but things have changed so much. The fall really is brief. It's not like cool like it used to be. It's still like 80, until like I think the past few living in this state, the past few years are like the first few times I've had on shorts.
Yep.
Christmas time, around the holidays.
Yeah.
But let's we're doing an abbreviated after hour show today, keeping it down to 30 minutes. So let's jump into this next
Go
one.
ahead.
So there's this picture going around, or this meme going around social media, and it says and it's caused a lot of uproar, with the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
It says how to make a man happy. And I'm gonna say all the 6 points, and then we can talk about
Go
it.
ahead.
It says, let him have his space, have sex with him, be his best friend,
Mm-hmm.
don't bother him about the moves he is making. You can treat that one how you want to. Cook for him, let him have gaming time or time with the guys.
Now, I got one question about that gaming time. Are they talking about game systems, Xbox, PlayStation? Or are they about gaming time like football, football season game time?
That's up for interpretation.
Okay.
I'm assuming it could be either
Either,
one, because it
yeah.
says,
I mean, it's what, college football season right now?
because that one says that says gaming time or time with the guys. So I feel like it could be either.
Yeah. But him having his space, yeah, definitely. Even with the ladies, let him have her space sometimes too. But it's being this about the fellas, man. I mean, because this is one thing saying this, but hopefully those of y'all who catch on to this later, this is one thing that kills me about some of y'all is too many of y'all keep trying to use old school ways of living in this new millennium when it comes to relationships. I'm gonna tell y'all, it's not working the way it used to. It's just not.
So how do you make a man happy then, Bruce? How do these women make Bruce happy? You heard that list 1 through 6. Let me go through it again. Let him have his space whenever that time may be.
Mm-hmm.
Have sex with him. Be his best friend. Don't bother him about moves he's making. Cook for him. Let him have gaming time or whatever. Pick one of those and talk about it. Let's go.
I'm gonna go with the let him have his space. That's what I'm gonna go with because
What about that?
let's check it out. You guys want a man to be your provider, your protector, you want the man to do it. Okay, so what are you gonna do for a man? Having his space can mean, hey, well, he likes to read. Let him have that time. He likes to go shopping. Some men like to shop, not like the ladies, but like to shop too. Let him have that time. He likes to have we like to have the fellas night out. Let us have that time. Don't be trying about, okay, let me see your phone after you get back, or don't be trying to, do anything that says that might think we're cheating on. Just let us have time, because don't forget, you want us to put a roof over your head, put food on the table, bring money to the table so you can shop when you want to. Maybe sometimes, in my case, I know kids to take care of, but sometimes there are men that have to take care of kids. So when a man wants his me, that's what some of us would call it. What we call it, me time. But that don't mean we just want the me time to do what we want to do. And whatever you do, don't use it against us after we've had it either, because we can't stand that. How about you, Sam? What's your what that makes you happy? Because me time is the time is the best thing to me. But I mean, I'm single with no kids.
I was laughing at Dre. He was talking about our game nights we used to always have, and still do, Dre. Still do.
Yeah.
They don't think because they got these spades apps. We be out here. I was just playing spades the other night.
Yep.
and then Chelsea. Oh man, eggplant drip drip.
Yeah.
Oh, she is a fool. She is a fool. Let me see. Out of that list, it says how to make a man happy. Let's see. So Bruce talked about the gaming and guide time. Let
Yeah,
him have his
space, man.
space. So you got the other ones. Don't be his best friend.
Mm.
So I look, I'll take that one. Be his best friend. So that one to me. So yeah, I mean the person you are. I'm assuming it depends on that. Be your best friend. I'm assuming is like a married relationship or a committed relationship. Yeah, you may be. I think people use that phrase "best friend" very loosely, right?
Mm.
Um, because you know you have like best friends that maybe you've known. Maybe your parents knew each other, and you've known each other your entire lives since you were before you were born. You knew each other, right?
Mm.
Then you have people that came into your life maybe in college or high school that you met. You became best friends.
Mm.
Uh, but I think it's a
Butler.
different level when you're in a relationship with someone, like a committed relationship, or you're married. Like it's yes, it is a friendship, but it's a romantic, relationship and friendship that's a whole nother level. Like if you and your partner are on the same level, you should be able to speak to that person like they are your best friend. You should be able to tell them anything. You should be able to share just about anything with them. But at the same time, I would not compare. It's a different type of relationship. Like so let's take, for instance, a female. She has her, let's say, female best friends that she's known forever. She's, despite how much she cares about you and your relationship and she loves you or whatever, she's still going to have a different type of relationship with those other women and talk about different things, just like guys. We talk about different things than you're going to talk about with your girlfriend or your spouse or whoever, just because of the nature of that relationship. But it's not taking anything away from your relationship with your wife or your spouse or your partner or a long time, whoever. It's just different levels. Hell yeah, Dre, talk about it.
You know,
It's just different. It's levels. It's levels to this stuff. It's levels to this game, Bruce.
you know what? You know it, man. And see, all of y'all tuning in. There's one thing about, and here's one subject I'm not afraid to talk about is knowing when your man needs the sex. Because believe it or not, that's just one thing
Uh-oh.
people don't talk. I'm gonna be a sharpshooter, man. Every man,
Oh shit.
every
Talk
man will
about it.
need that because and say I'll never forget way back when I used to do interviews with people.
Hold on.
Um,
Need, need or want. Hold on. We
Oh,
gotta we
trust
gotta
me.
make sure
Oh,
it's correct.
check it out. So, I'm gonna tell you all the way a guy told me when I think my title was "What Causes Cheating," and the man, one of the guys, I'm not gonna mention his name. Uh, he didn't
Uh-oh.
want no credit, but he was like, "Bruce, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Me and my wife at the time he had been married for 18 years. He told me, and I think he was only in his 40s. So that was still a pretty good time frame to be married in your early 40s. He said, Bruce,
All right.
men need sex just as much as women, but men to us it's a intercourse massage versus women are more of a outer massage. They're like outer massages from the feet to the head to back, whatever. But that's what sex is to some men. It's an intercourse massage where we like to feel relieved and we have needs that have to be met. He said, "I'll just be honest."
I've never heard it phrased that way, but yeah, I guess I'm trying to like.
Well, now the way he was trying to put it was that one thing he touched on was your spouse or your partner should know after a period of time, based on their mature level, should know when you as a man need sex by your mood, by the way you come in the door, by honey, by the kiss they give you. He's like all men show when they need it through actions, but sometimes women don't catch them, and that's why they'll cheat because they're thinking that the women that's what women the men are thinking that women are not paying them enough mind, and so like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
honey, by now if I don't go straight to my room after I get off work, that's a sign that I need it. I mean, every man is different, but every woman should know when her man needs the sex, and if you don't,
Yeah, I think when you've been in a relationship long enough with someone,
yeah,
you pick up on the signs, and or some people have this schedule,
there you go.
like, and it may not be down schedule, but like in your mind you have this mental, and then some people are spontaneous, right? They're just like, hey, you could have that look almost like when you're first, talking to somebody, or maybe you're dating or whatever, and they have that look, and boom, so like you said, I think it's different. I think it's different for
Everybody's different.
every
Everybody's different.
couple,
So
because you got some people have extremely high sex
yeah.
drives even when they're older, and then you have some people, maybe their sex drives, don't match, so they have to figure out what works for them. You know what I'm saying?
And some, and
And and vice versa,
yeah,
and
and
vice versa. And
if you try to make your man happy, then the thing is, if you know he's spontaneous, you ain't got to wait till he get in bed. You ain't got to wait till he get on does. Some men will go ahead and do, and sex will make them happy just out of thin air.
right,
And you ain't got to wait for no
like
specific time. It's just the whole point, lady, is know your man. Because if you kind of know your man in and out, trust me, there's always some other young lady trying to, whether you're married or committed. So to prevent that, know your man, learn your man, and do it fast. Don't stop waiting for these TV shows, housewives, to give you all the tips and tricks. Damn it, learn your damn self.
oh, the
I mean,
housewives.
I don't know what these shows. I don't even watch none of that.
That's not on air, Bruce. You got to come with some new shit. That's not on
Well,
air.
whatever these shows, I don't even watch that mess anyway. I'm just trying to say the last show there is.
It's been around for a while. What's this new stuff? I
I
saw
don't know.
a commercial. What is it?
I
Like Fantasy Island or something
Okay,
like
well,
that.
hell,
Something.
shit, whatever it is.
Now, she said vice versa. What about vice versa? What about the women? She said the women. Do guys know when a woman needs sex versus that? We're talking about guy.
Well,
Yeah, that's a guy talking from a guy's perspective. But what about the vice versa from the female perspective?
hold up now, because fellas, I'm gonna tell you this right here, fellas. You gotta have an idea. You know what I mean? What time of the month does your woman's friend come around first?
Uh,
So is it?
oh,
Because if your woman's friend comes around at the end of the month, you also got to give a little bit of time, maybe the first week before, at the first of the month too. Because if that friend's around, trust me, you ain't getting in. Well, you should. Sometimes you won't, because don't forget that.
he said, "Trust me. Take my word for it. Trust
Hey,
me."
because sometimes that friend of hers is, causing her more pain, and she ain't down with it. Now, some women can take it. I mean, every woman's different, but that's the first
That's
thing
true.
when you want to be there for your woman's sex. And some women are so spontaneous. I used to have one that was so spontaneous. It could be the kitchen. It could be kissing on the front porch to, right there in the living room. She didn't care, and it's
Oh shit. He all over the damn
hey
house.
man, it was all right, but that's the way she was. So the idea is knowing your woman. But hey, I'll tell you one thing: if she ever denies you, fellas, you cannot assume that all the BS you're hearing that's going on outside the streets. You cannot buy that mess right away just because she may deny you. Because trust me, there's reasons why she might. Now,
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think you have to know whoever you're with or attempting to, be with. You have to know all these different signs, right? And it is like people say, relationship. Somebody set it up earlier on the chat. Relationships are work, right? It's not something you can just. It's not like a light switch. You just turn it on and turn it off. It's constant. It's constant adjustments. It's constant changes, schedules, attitudes, goals. All these things are forever changing. If you just stay in this constant lane with these blinders on, like horses or whatever,
yeah.
The relationship's not going to last that long. But if you can adapt, and you can get to know the other person and kind of read their signs a little bit, but then also talk to them and speak to them, and that goes back to that friendship, right? Maybe it's not the best friend, but it's a friendship where you're able to speak to the person and understand what they're going through, or and help them out, and they can do the same thing for you, right?
There you go. Get this. One other thing I was going to touch on that makes, huh? Oh, one thing
Don't
I
bother
was going to
him.
say though.
On the list. How many women are cooking for you, Bruce?
There's been a couple. There's been a couple. I mean, I'm not in no committed relationship right now, but there's been a few that used to, and it was like, all right,
So when
well,
they did,
that's one thing
did
about
you
it, man.
expect?
Huh?
I said, when that was happening, did you expect that all the time, certain days of the week, or like spontaneous or whatever? What was going on?
Well, during the time, I mean, I'm still single now, but I would say when I was single, when I was like when I was in my when I was in my mid to late 20s and I was single, it was different. You would have women who would cook, women who would just like spontaneous events, the women who were like competitiveness. I always had more than one. I was always respectful to them. That I let them know up front. Friends is all we are for now. But when I wasn't a committed commitment versus friends is different.
Right.
Friends is to collect data for the right woman that's for you, from a man's point of view. It's to collect data. Like, what does this woman, what does this friend do that you like? What does that friend do that you like? That's is to get data, and then when you meet the right woman, you want to have all that data in one woman. Maybe not 100%, but at least over 50% of that woman that has some competitiveness, some compassion, some romance, all that different stuff in her. I mean, she hasn't came yet, but that's what I did when I was even now.
Well, don't be friends too long.
No,
Don't be friends too
no.
long. Don't be friends too long. You don't want to get friend
Oh
zoned.
no, check it out, man. There were times when those friends of mine, they were like, "Well, Bruce, not tonight because I have a date." I'm like, "All right, cool." I wasn't
Right.
mad at them, but it's to
In cooking,
have more of that
um,
is crazy. It's being married is different than being single. Way different. It's like daggum amateurs versus championship, not professional. Marriage is like the championship leagues versus amateur leagues, as someone is completely different. So don't get them twisted. What you do as an
it's night
amateur,
and
you cannot do as a pound for pound undisputed champion. It's just you cannot do it because it's uh,
yeah, it's night and day, man.
mm,
And so, from my perspective, cooking. I mean, I showed interest in cooking probably when I was like middle school
yeah,
age or whatever. So I've been doing it for a long time. But I've never expected, a female to, when I was in a relationship, even now, married. Like I don't expect a female to cook for me all the time.
no,
There's certain days depending on
yeah,
schedules, uh, where I cook. Usually, I mean, I make my own breakfast. Lunch. Usually, I make my own lunch. Sometimes my wife makes dinner,
yeah,
um, and it really revolves around schedules, right? So if like somebody's got this practice, or I'm at the gym doing this, or going here, or going there, the meeting over here, or doing the radio, it's more of a like, hey, I know you're busy. Let me do this so that it makes your day easier, and you don't have to come, rush and do this and do that or whatever. So it's more of a balance, right?
there you go.
And there you go, DoorDash. So
Yeah,
since COVID has happened, you have all these food delivery services,
yeah.
right? You That's the fellas. That's the easiest way to surprise a woman right there. If you don't know how to cook, you better get you some DoorDash. Put that joint in some nice plates.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on a plate. Organize it properly, like you look like you made it. Throw some pans, dirty some pans up. Even put it in the pan, heat it up, and then boom, put it on the plate. There you go, little trick.
Yeah, and one thing else though, Sam, explain to them how sometimes like you're the cookaholic of the family. We all know that, but explain to them how spouses should be able to tell that their man or their woman, who's sometimes a cookaholic of the family, their spouse, their partner is kind of getting tired of the same old cooking for the family. When they get tired, explain to them how the other should pick up without the other even saying anything because they can read the body language.
Yeah, I mean but see, that goes back to what one of the listeners said, right, about
Yeah.
communication. If you know your significant other, you know maybe they don't like to cook every day of the week, right?
Yeah.
So like our listener said, maybe you want to do takeout. Maybe it's a food delivery service, or maybe someone goes and picks up the food,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then maybe you cook on certain days. But for someone to cook every day, I wouldn't want to cook every single day, not every meal every single day. That's a lot. And for someone to expect that day after day after day, like you said, some people have this old school mentality where a female is supposed to be in the kitchen preparing a meal, breakfast, lunch, dinner, brunch, snacks, dessert, extra dessert later. Like they feel like they're doing that, right? But the reality is, unless you are, even if you are a high, let's go back to our other terms, right? Even if you are this high value guy and you are, let's say you're the breadwinner, let's say you make, whatever, 250,000 plus a year.
Mm-hmm.
You have everything taken care of, anything that everybody wants, you can take care of it for the family. And you're like, okay, this female, your spouse, I'm assuming, if maybe fiance, partner, whatever, maybe you expect them, maybe you want them to prepare all these meals and make sure everything's taken care of. Does that mean they're going to do it every day? Maybe not. Maybe that's the agreement you guys have, but I would not expect that person, even if I was taking care of all this other stuff, to take care of that every day and cook every day. Maybe it's, a they picked up the food. Maybe they had food delivered. That's still a way of preparing the food and having it there, having it ready, but not having to physically make it. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on the role, man. Like Dre said, times are different. Times are changing and very different. So you have to be really clear on roles and who's doing what days of the week. I don't think anybody should expect anything from anybody. That's my belief. I don't expect anything from anybody unless we've communicated and there's a plan. Except for maybe in a marriage, it's a little different. But if you're single or you're dating, man, you shouldn't expect nothing from these ladies.
Nah.
Take care of your, learn how to cook, go to the gym, take care of your own shit.
There you go.
Don't worry about chicks out here and depend on them to eat. If you depend on a woman to eat, you got a problem.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, outside of what can make a man happy, man, Sam, what was the other topic we had for tonight? Because the reason why we chose what can make a man happy.
Don't bother him on the moves he makes. What's your take on that one?
Don't bother him on the moves he makes. For example, like give me one example. What you mean by that? What they mean by that?
So the way I look at that is maybe about the moves he makes. I mean, the way I look at it as, maybe you're on the run, maybe you're doing, you have a job, you have a gig, maybe you're doing a side hustle over here, and you're coming and going, But again, now that the thing says don't hassle him, or don't, what does it say? Don't bother him. Define bother. Maybe that means you're blowing up his phone, constantly texting, doing this, doing that, or whatever. But if that guy's communicating properly, I guess it depends on the level of the relationship, right? If you're dating, yeah, don't bother me. If you're single, don't, and you on the side over here, don't bother me.
Oh man, I get plenty of that.
If you're married, it's a different story. Like you and I, right? We're on opposite sides of the relationship spectrum.
You married.
You should handle that one way, and I should handle that a completely different way.
Hey man, listen, Sam. Check it out. I mean, I'm not married yet, but I do know this. When your wife calls, bro, I'm gonna tell you, go ahead and answer, so that way you just keep the peace. But when you're single and you get your phone blown up from one girl you're dating or talking to, don't get blocked. Whatever you do, don't pester and bug the hell out of us when we're single, because you will get blocked, and then you'll wonder why it ain't happening.
Damn,
I done told you enough times why, and you keep doing it. Damn.
Bruce, how many ladies have blocked you?
How many ladies have blocked me? I don't know. I don't think I've gotten blocked lately. Last time I think I got blocked is when I was in my like 22, 24 was the last time I got blocked. But that was a learning point for me, where I said, you know what, I'm gonna have more than one, but there's not gonna be but so much activity that goes on between me and her, unless because of me, I'm just upfront. Like if somebody asks, if one of my friends asked me, well, who else am I seeing? I'm like, well, there's maybe one or two more, but this is all we do. If you don't believe me, here's the number. Go ahead and call and ask them. Go ahead. Because I ain't got nothing to hide. That's the way I am. But then they'll be like, all right, well, sometimes I'm out at the gym with one of them, or I'm out, and then I'll get a call from the other one, and I'll just, I won't respond.
Man, that seems like a web of a web of craziness
No, I
right
mean,
there. But we all been,
it's
all been
collecting data, it's enjoying life, and it's at the same time, you get a chance, like one of my friends, she does not like competitiveness at all. She don't like shooting balls, she don't like working at the gym, she like going to the gun range, she don't like none of that. All she likes doing
right.
is watching Netflix, kicking back, and being held at net. That's all she likes. And
Okay.
she wondered why she put on a little weight, and I tried to tell her, but she don't want to do anything. I can't force her to. But that's what I do like competitiveness. I do like going to the gun range, going to going to play putt putt maybe just to stay active and things like that.
Right.
Then I mean there's so when you're single but versus married, you gotta not really you have to go out there and give yourself a bunch of options of what you know is not gonna. So that way when you do get committed, you can always say, hey, I've had my fun, but at the same time, whatever I'm with, you can take back and say, okay, honey, well, let's go take a hot air balloon. Let's go, let's go do this together. Let's go do a food giveaway. You know what I mean? Find while you're out there dating is when you're finding stuff around you that you like, and that way, when you take, like, let's say you enjoy doing 10 things, you can take all 10 of those to your spouse, to the woman you're committed to, and let's say she only likes to do 5 or 6 of them. Okay, good. You won't get bored because you always got something to do if you ain't got the kids or anniversaries or certain things. I mean, it's like after like me, I get tired of the same old date, movies,
The
dinner.
routine. Same routine.
Yeah, I get tired of the same old, same old. I mean, so let's do something new.
Gotcha.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to change things up. I mean, you don't want to
It's,
go, you don't want to have a schedule. You don't want to have a schedule where it's like Monday I got to do this, Tuesday do this, Wednesday we're doing this Thursday this Friday we're doing every first Friday we're doing this, second Friday we're
yeah,
doing this, third
and see,
Friday.
some people like that, but some people get tired of it. And I mean, even with women,
Yeah,
women would always fear that they'll get talked about or they'll get known for dating more than one guy at a time. It's okay as long as you're respectful to him and yourself. Once you start losing that
be
respect, then you're gonna be talked
upfront
about.
about it.
Yes.
Be upfront about it from the very start.
Say what?
I said you should be upfront about it from the very start.
Yeah.
That stops you from getting stabbed and stuff
Oh
like
yeah.
that. You know.
Hey, Sam. I probably have lost over triple digit women who's just because I date more than one at a time, and I'm okay with that because it's when the thing was when I was honest. They're like, all right, well, who are you doing this with? Well, I was like, no. I said, well, are you? They always ask me questions. I'm like, hey, if you think I'm lying, go ahead, call and ask them. And I've had,
You didn't get caught out.
I've had one or two who stepped up, and they called the woman on the spot. And I'm like, okay, go ahead, ask her anything else you want to. I said, I told you. I said, you know what? I would do something like, you know what? Dinner is on you tomorrow or something like that, just to give them something to remember. But
There you go.
the
I
thing
like it.
was, they saw I was being honest, and they saw, okay, well, one girl even asked another girl I was talking to, how many times have y'all slept together? And she's like, none. And she's like, girl, stop lying. And they had their little female chit chat talk. And I stepped away for a second. It's like, I knew I could do. And then after she asked, she was like, she still doubted. I was like, you know what?
That's
But
funny.
yeah, the whole thing with this season,
Bruce put his shades on when they started talking. He put
oh
his shades
shit, man,
on
I'm
and
like,
started walking the other direction. That's what
nah,
happened.
dude, I just give them a chance to have their women's time, whatever they call it.
All for it.
That
But hey, we definitely want to we want to thank you guys for tuning in today and joining with this this Wednesday. Remember, you can check us out every 7 to 8 p.m. on 72.9 The Voice. We're looking forward to being back in the studio. Being virtual is lovely, but I'd rather be back in the studio doing our thing, banners and computers and everything else going on. Yes, we love to be in the studio, so we can't wait to be back. But continue to check us out there. Check us out on Twitter, Chaos Convo 01. Of course, on Facebook, Chaos Conversation, as you guys are joining in and tuning in and watching. And hey, we just like to have a little fun, make fun of the ladies a little bit, create a little, mess with Bruce a little bit, get him excited and crazy.
whatever. That's what we do.
But until then, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, if you want to keep this conversation going, we can do it on the chat. We'll be there.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Peace.